Welcome back, punters, to another episode of Tipster, our first one for 2024. And no, don't adjust your screens. We've got Brodie Nickson here from Sky Racing joining me today. How are you, bro?
Good, Damien. How are you?
Good. How was the break?
It was great. Bit too much travelling, spent too many times in airports, but overall it's fantastic and keen to get back into it. Magic Millions this week.
Absolutely, man. That's a good way to start the next question there, mate, because I'm very interested to learn. You're a Queenslander. You've probably been to the Gold Coast track a fair bit, I'd imagine, over your years. Really interested to get your intel. What are punters looking for in this Gold Coast track? Because they're probably not having a lot of bets, in general at the track, and now we come to this time of year where all the focus is on the Magic Millions and obviously racing at Gold Coast. So it's a couple of tips for the track.
It's fascinating because they relayed the track last year, which we know they were racing on the Cinto for so long. But last weekend, I couldn't believe how well the track played. They had a lot of rain during the week. I think about 200 mils was reported, and it was a soft 5 after a couple of days. So it's clearly a well-drained track, and they've got Navesh up there who did a great job down in Sydney with the ATC.
Yeah,
and
did too.
He's up there on the Gold Coast. So we had no luck last year. It was raced out after a couple of hours, but hopefully this track can play well. And I think it was maybe a little bit leaderish last week, but a lot of favourites winning. So not too sure if that was just best horses found the best part of the track, but it's going to be a fascinating day. I can't wait to see how it goes. Big fields and good horses.
Yeah, that's some great insights there, Brodie. And look, hey, we have to ask the question. 2-year-old and the 3-year-old classic, any thoughts early on?
2-year-olds I've got a bit struggling with, a lot more work to do with that. I was on straight charge a long way out, so I was filthy to see him come out and an all-in ticket there. But I think Stormboy deserves to be favourite. Arabian Summer and also the Highness, the galloper there from the Snowdens, I think, look to be the dangers, but a bit more work to do in that. In regards to the Guineas, much clearer for me. I think Chrysaor is a better the day up there. I think he's going to be very hard to beat. It was narrowly beaten in the Vo Rogue, and he's going to strip fit up. We get J-Mac as well from a good gate. And I think Safrado's the danger, the horse that beat him in the Vo Rogue, but Chrysaor second up, strips a bit fitter. Big jockey booking, so he's the bet for me.
Great insights, Brodie. And of course, Brodie does his trial spy segment at Sky Racing. Hearing a lot on the punters panel too, and getting some great intel there for punters with Dave Stanley and the crew. And of course, anchors a lot of the Sky 1 and Sky 2 race day content. So you're going to get a lot more. So hang around because Bro's got some special tips right at the end of our show. So don't go anywhere. Of course, in this segment today, well, actually, before we get on to what's in this segment, we're just going to take a bit of a look at something that popped up at good old Aqueduct in USA this week in racing. Look, if you ever want to throw your ticket away when they jump, Brodie, I think you might want to think again after seeing this footage.
I couldn't believe we were watching this before we hopped on air. It's gone.
Yeah,
it's bucking.
Gone. Like you're throwing your ticket away, right?
It's no
at this
chance.
time, you see you later.
It's absolutely no chance of winning.
Yeah.
And hooks to the outside. The replay at the turn, it's not even in the picture.
No, it's not in the picture.
And you look at the chiclets down the bottom. That's the one.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's not. It's still not in there. Or here it comes. It's starting to make its move, but not in the picture.
And then here it comes. This is what dreams are made of.
No.
When you're sitting there and you think you're going, I would have been out of the tab by now. I would have been in the car on the way home.
You've been in the ambulance or something wondering what's going on and gets the chocolates right on the line too. Like it's a fantastic one. So, hey, in this show today, of course, it's January. So we look at December's tipsters of the month. And we look at the top 5 and we'll look at the media guys. But of course, we look at the tipster of the year, Brodie. So like, you've got to think about this. Like, people have been putting their tips in all year. You have to put in 120 tips to qualify. So you can't just be putting in a few and get lucky. And there's some phenomenal efforts on there. And here's the thing too, we've got a promotion going on today. So you need to comment with your tipster who you want to trial their tip package. You'll get a free trial. Obviously those who aren't in the media, but those who are selling their tips on the Great Tip-Off, they'll have the pro symbol next to them, or they'll have the punter symbol. And all you've got to do is put their name in the comments section on YouTube. Tell us why. So, put a bit of effort into why you want a free trial. We've got a limited number, and we're going to send them out to those who really, really want them the most. So tell us the tipster's name and why you want their free trial, and we'll get in contact with it pretty quickly. So that's just one to mention. Of course, we've got our free tips. So we've got tipsters putting in their videos for free tips for this weekend. And of course, we'll wrap up with Brodie Nickson with his free tips for this coming Friday and weekend. So hang around, guys. Great episode ahead.
Now, Damo, the tipster of the month for December, the end of last year, we got a couple of very, very impressive percentage of turnover stats, but there's one man at the top, Vacant Lot. He's had some big numbers there. 44 is the amount of tips, so it's not as many others on the list, but strike rate's low. But geez, he's tipping him at big odds.
Like, this is the thing, like sometimes people will follow a tipster and they go like, I'm giving up. But here's an example, and it's worth looking at their average price of their winners, because if they're hitting double figures, you're happy to hang around. Like 7% is pretty low. I don't know where they get these names from, Vacant Lot, but he's certainly not a vacant lot because he's filling up the chest. Really interesting. He's a real good mixture of sort of shorter price runners, but also picks the big ones and clearly picks a good number of, higher priced winners to get that average up to 11.27. But Vacant Lot's one of the ones who you can get a free trial for. Just put his name down there and tell us why you want him. But yeah, he's had a great December, and so are his followers.
And you've got to be patient with those sort of tipsters as well, because they're going to go through highs, they're going to go through lows like any other punter.
Yeah.
AJ, is it AJ Ago?
AJ
Ago. He's had percentage on turnover of 71%. 50 the number of tips. So the next three, Nadia Hornet and the Bear, are all very similar around their strike rate, very similar in regards to the average prices as well. Yeah,
look, so they're all around there. I mean, and sort of around, the same number of tips. I guess a couple of insights into AJ Ago. Look, his biggest winner in the month was $22.70. So again, looking at his average price, he's tipping them all around the place. He's not just focusing on those bigger price winners or lower price winners. Does his homework. The interesting thing about AJ Ago and Vacant Lot, very similar in that they're not tipping in every race. They're picking their races, and that's around risk and all that sort of thing, and they're just nailing in on those ones that make the best appeal. So that discipline theme comes through there pretty strongly. Nadia tips actually sort of affiliated, I suppose, with Sky RSN, almost. You'll hear sort of similar content across both and so forth. But Nadia does a great job in SA, and they're very popular too amongst the people. The Bear, Tassie punter, just focuses on Tassie. Again, that discipline thing coming through, bro. I mean, how about yourself, mate? Do you just sort of focus for your own punting? Are you focusing on one state, one area, or do you find yourself sort of drifting across a couple?
Well, this is a fascinating conversation we had off air, and we're going to touch on it shortly in the tips of the year, because some of the stats for people who punt solely in their own jurisdiction, punting so hard, you need to know the horses you're looking at. I stick mainly to New South Wales, and sometimes I do venture up to Queensland and down to Victoria with horses that I'm following out of New South Wales, but with it so hard to know all these horses across all these different venues, what the tracks are going to play like, where they are in their preparation, and obviously what they're versing. So some of these horses I like to stick to New South Wales just because I know what I know. I like to bet in maidens personally because I like these up and coming horses, but likes of the Bear and a few other punters we'll touch on later, when you get your own jurisdiction, it's so much easier to know these horses and you know what they're versed and what their capabilities are. Yeah,
look, that's great insight, and we will touch on that theme. And look, it's just about getting that edge, isn't it? And so it's clearly these guys have got that edge. And Boongate's there, much higher volume we see, $12 average price, and coming in there at 58% pop. Remember, these are starting prices, and we know that the average fixed will come in way over that. So well worth following. Remember, put their name in a comment and tell us why you want their free trial, and we'll get in touch and get your free trial out very shortly.
All right, the media tipster of the month. We've already covered Nadia Horn, who tops the list at 69% profit on turnover. Steve Zemet from The Telegraph. He's a veteran, but he's bringing some good numbers in, isn't he? 50% profit on turnover and 50 tips. Average price $4.42.
Yeah, got to be happy with that. And look, I'll couple him up with Gordon Armstrong here from the Herald Sun. And imagine this, Brodie. Imagine if you had to put your tips in 72 hours before they jump. How would you feel?
You'd be nervous because you got track patterns, you got scratchings, but also
Yeah.
they're tipping in every race nearly, aren't they?
Well, they are. They're tipping in every race, but they've got to put that in so the deadline sort of, somewhere around Wednesday afternoon or might be Thursday morning, somewhere around there for a Saturday. I mean, the world changes between that time. We know a day or half a day of racing is a long time, right?
And these are recorded off SPs, aren't they? So if they're tipping at big overs.
That's it. That's the other part that, we say. It's funny because we say people, best, use best tote. It's actually way unders. And we've had gurus in the industry say that. So at the end of the day, these are phenomenal stats. And Steve Zammit, Nardi Horn, and Steve Zammit and Gordon Armstrong in particular should get a massive pat on the back for this. This is not easy to do when you're tipping that far ahead. So phenomenal efforts.
And the next man, Nicholas Dacos. Now, I'm not an AFL man, but we've just got the education before recording. It's not the AFL player.
It's not the AFL.
Someone at Tab.
Absolutely. You haven't bumped into him in the water cooler at Sky or something?
No, Nicholas Dacos. I think
famous
if
name.
I was him, I'd be playing off the name massively.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's a good punter. I mean, he's turned $100 into 4,070 in the last 30 days. I mean,
Christmas would have been easy.
Yeah, Christmas would have been. I hope he's backing him. That's what you hope. But you'd think he's on a fair number of them. But
and to close off with Gary Cleese, he travels all around racing, around New South Wales for Sky Racing, and striking at 25%. For someone who tips in basically every race, he's going home at least two winners per meeting.
Program, and look, and doing a great job. I mean, Gary teams up, I think, mostly with Priscilla, right?
So Northern Rivers.
And we're going to hear about Priscilla in a minute. So there's something going on there. There's great. I mean, just the intel. The intel there is fantastic coming from Gary and Priscilla, and clearly holding the Sky Racing banner nice and high there, mate.
Absolutely, they're airborne, and when they're working together, they're clearly learning and working alongside each other and making money. Not only for themselves, but the punters.
Exactly. No, it's great stuff.
Tipster of the Year, Damo, and these are some monstrous numbers.
Yeah.
We've got a mixture of pros, a mixture of punters, a mixture of media. But Christopher Vella at 37%, and shortly behind is Alan Utterson at 36%.
Yeah.
Anything over maybe 10% over a full year is good money.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
You times that by 3 or 4, that's just monstrous.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've got to put a decent volume in. So you're talking about 120 tips at least. I think you'll find with both Chris and Alan, they put a lot more in that. Chris flew home, a bit like Chautauqua to get the prize. Alan was and you can see he's just got a percentage point. To great tipster, New South Wales Victoria focus. Alan Utterson, purely WA. Now, if you put $100 on every one of Alan Utterson's tips through the year, you probably do better than what I'm about to say because this is using starting price. $19,000 profit plus. So, Alan Utterson's an absolute gun. He declared something on Twitter in one of his packages this year, and it came in at $30. Like the guy, he's seeing something in the crystal ball that other punters aren't seeing.
And we were speaking about this beforehand earlier in the video, having your certain sort of areas, something that works for you, and
Absolutely.
sticking to that and discipline. And Alan's the walking example of that. 36%. You've got to be a gun to get anywhere near that.
You've got to be, and year on year, right? So Alan Utterson, was he in top 10 this year? I'm not sure, but you'll see 2022, 2021. He's making profit. So if you want to put a name down below in the YouTube comments, this might be one you want to put in there, but remember, tell us why, and you can free trial Alan Utterson's tip package.
You got Shane O'Reilly, 25%, another pro, and then we'll touch on Richard Bell shortly, and Aaron Jess also around the 20-25%, which is still fantastic.
Fantastic,
numbers.
Yeah. Sydney, Victoria, New South Wales focus, and really sharp punter.
Now, Richard Bell is a race caller in WA.
There we go.
We were just chatting off air.
Yeah.
He's gun tips to the Gallops.
Yeah.
But I know working with him, he's a gun tips to the Greyhounds as well.
Yeah.
He's just a smart judge.
Well, is it one of those things too, Brodie, where, he's amongst it, he's immersed in, he's seen the horses go around, he's seen where they're at. Oh, hang on, I called him last week, I've seen the dogs as well. Remember, this is just his horse racing stats. He had to have tipped over 120 to get here. But yeah, so he's immersed in it, and I think we were discussing before, WA is probably not as many horses, probably not as many tracks, less variables, but he's calling races, seeing every little inkling of how they're travelling and so forth, and that's where it transfers. And Richard Bell is there year after year. I remember Dave Stanley on the punters panel actually mentioned it because I think he, obviously looks at the side as well. But Richard Bell is a gun.
He's very, very good.
Yep.
We get down further down. RaceNet, James Maloney, 20% profit on turnover in the media as well. Do RaceNet put in their tips, like we were chatting about earlier with the journos, do they go in real early as well?
Look, I think they vary. They tend to be there on race day, typically, so they're not like the newspaper guys, that's for sure.
Yep.
They are in later. So he doesn't probably have that handicap, James, but look, they push James as a pro, and look at those stats, he certainly is.
Certainly is. 19% for the Formulator at a 0.16%.
Yeah, look, one I'll mention there is Formulator. Formulator's been tipping on our site since 2011, and he has won countless Tipster of the Months. He's won Tipster of the Years, and I would say in those 12 years, so that's a long time. Very rarely would he have been out of top 20 and definitely made a profit each year. He's a lifetime profit maker since 2011 using starting price. It's just incredible.
That's something you also need to take into account. A lot of these guys are taking overs for a lot of horses as well.
Yep.
And suggesting guys like Christopher, Allen, and all these other pros, they'll have marked accounts.
Yeah,
so if, say,
absolutely.
Allen's piled into something at 20 to 1,
Yep.
Tab, everyone else is going to wind it in too.
Absolutely, correct. And that's why the starting prices, they're going to do a lot better than this,
And we got a couple of our own. Priscilla Looker from Sky, 14%. We spoke about Gary going well together. You got the great tip-off zone, Heath Pope.
Yeah, Heath Pope. Heath Pope joined us this year. This guy, as Alan and Richard are for WA, Heath Pope is for South Australia. He is an absolute gun. It's probably a simple story there. Really, most city meetings run at more for ball. So smaller variable base, but he's all over it. So you want to have a punt, specifically in South Australia, Heath Pope. He's a name you can stick in underneath here in the comments on YouTube and free trial him. He's an absolute gun, and his insights are invaluable. Look, Priscilla, there's something going on in that team there. Their intel is certainly aligned, and look, Priscilla's been on our program before because she's been a standout, and hey, second baby too, I believe, in 2023. So not only was she tipping them for fun, tipping winners for fun, but adding another family member, which is great. Okay, Brodie, so this is the part of the show where punters get free tips, exclusive tips that you're getting ahead of time here. So look, we're delving into the leaderboard bucket, and we're coming up with some free intel from tipsters. So first cab off the rank, of course, is Heath Pope. We spoke about Heath, South Australian form expert. And this is his special mail for the weekend.
Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Heath Pope. Okay, I've been asked to share a little bit about myself, as 2023 was another successful year. Firstly, you can find my main selections on the Great Tip-Off, whilst I've also been contributing to RaceNet for about 17 or 18 years, focusing primarily on South Australia thoroughbred racing. Also, I speak briefly on SEN each Saturday morning to Gareth Hall. Why South Australia is normally the first question I get asked. Well, basically, I like to focus on an area where I believe the markets are less efficient and easier to beat compared to the Sydney and Melbournes, which every Tom, Dick and Harry follows. Basically, what I'm doing is going against what most others are doing, which gives me my edge at the moment. I now use a terrific product in Rapro Racing Analytics database, which provides me with my groundwork numbers, providing video comments for RaceNet, hence watching replays is the tedious part of my job, however also nearly one of the most important. Staking is crucial whilst obviously obtaining value are the keys. Another thing which sets me aside from most others is I'm not going to tip you every favourite. There will be some, of course, that I still deem to be value. However, my bread and butter are those primarily just out of the market. Tipping the obvious isn't my go. Subscribe for my stuff on the Great Tip-Off and you'll be getting both of these. Okay, enough about me. Let's find a winner this Saturday. Racing is at Murray Bridge, a track which definitely favours those coming from off the pace, and away from the fence I expect will be the best spot. Actually pretty keen on one in the last on Saturday in race 9, number 10, Myrtle Creek, with $7.50 widely available. If ever a horse profiles to appreciate the mile at Murray Bridge, it's this mare. Two most recent runner-up efforts has really savaged the line on each occasion. Two races which has since produced 5 subsequent winners, whilst also gets in here with no weight. I have her rated a genuine $4 chance. Good luck if you're following.
And now for the pro punters. We mentioned Shane Reilly before. He was top 10 in 2023, and this is his early tip for this weekend.
Shane Reilly here, currently ranked 7th on the Great Tip-Off. Now, I call myself a speed rater. First book I ever read was Andy Bayer's Speed Ratings books. Really influenced the way I do the form. I know we cop a bit of flack here in Australia, but it's working for me so far, so I am going to stick with it. Now, my best bet for the weekend is race 5, number 3, Either Or. Currently at $4.80 to 1. Appears like pretty good value, and I'm happy to take those odds. Rated at a 184, which is 20 points ahead of its nearest rival, which is number 7, Mrs. Chrissy. At the current odds of 4 to 1, I might back them both, but so far my best bet of the day is number 3, Either Or.
All right, Damo, that closes off a big show to start the year. However, for weekly watchers like myself, it only gets bigger. It
does get bigger. Yeah, I mean, look, we always tell viewers to subscribe so you don't miss a thing, because there's a lot of content coming your way. Of course, the All In program, which it's just getting popular and popular and popular, and Mick Gannon, of course.
Some of the boys' results throughout the year, huge.
Yeah,
Gano,
well.
Watling, Louis
from Sky, so they're going good, the boys. And yeah, look, they've got some things planned within that. I'll let Mick talk to that when he gets back. But yeah, so that's going to come in February, obviously for the autumn season. So look out for that. But we've actually got these special betting tip segments. So there's obviously a lot of high-profile tipsters that put exclusive information through our site. David Gately, Mark Hunter, amongst others. And so you're going to be seeing specific betting tipping videos on our YouTube channel. So just little things that, various things, myths or whatever they feel are things that punters, probably should focus on, or a particular, betting technique or whatever it will be. So look out for that. So that's our sort of pro betting series we're going to introduce. So look out for those. Again, the best way to do it is to stay subscribed. Also want to mention, remember, any tipster you saw today with a pro or punter symbol, put their name below in the comments section on YouTube. Tell us why you want to get a free trial, and we'll get in contact with you to get your free trial. I mean, it could be up to about, $40 of value right there. So, hey, talking about quality information, this guy next to me here, apart from being a valuable asset of Sky Racing, is a gun tipster. I remember Everest Day. And we asked Brodie for a tip. We got it on, you'll see it on our Twitter and YouTube channel. And not only did he tip the winner, I think it was double figure odds, pretty sure it was double figure odds, but you called it to a T. I mean, exactly how the race was run. The horse did exactly what you thought it to do. So this guy knows the stuff. And now we're going to ask him, with all that pressure, what's your tip? For Saturday, mate. What's your best?
I got lucky that day. It was a good day to start every day. It's always tough when you start with a loser, isn't it?
It was race 2 too, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, it was race 1.
Race 1.
First of the day. My voice was hoarse after that.
That's right.
But Chrysaor, we spoke about him before, but I think he's got to be the bet. He was fantastic in the Vo Rogue. Gets J-Mac. We got a lot of emergencies drawn inside. So this horse is going to get the gun run. Good. And I think he wins.
There we go. Straight from Brodie Nickson. Early as you like. Punters, don't forget, subscribe, Brodie. Look, thanks for today, mate. That was excellent. Great to have Brodie Nickson. Look out for Brodie on Sky Racing. He does a great job with the Trial Spy segment. You'll hear him on Punters Panel. You'll see him anchoring various, either Sky 1, Sky 2 at various times. Does a great job over there. So look out for Brodie. And, hey, punters, have a great Magic Millions. Mate, have a great Magic Millions. Where are you watching that this weekend?
I will be at home relaxing.
There we go. Punters, hope you're doing the same. Good luck.